There's so many young guys out there that will not be caught dead paying bills for anybody.
To be with someone that teaches you how to love yourself.
Any change that anybody did not do before marrying you, don't expect that.
When I stopped going to school, I cried, just funny, blind boy.
It's deep waters, baby. This is starting to be my favorite, opening line. It's deep waters, baby. Good to have you on the show. Thanks for joining me. Yes, it's Monday and it's about 4:30 p.m. West African time, and you're tuned into Radio 93.7 FM and Silverbird News 24. Yes, your number one talk show on radio and TV. In fact, your number one deep talk show on radio and TV. Yes, we're live on Radio FM and of course on StarTimes channel 109. We're also live on YouTube, so you can actually search for Silverbird N24. Click on the live button to watch the show. The show is live on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 4:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. on Mondays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, and 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Fridays. You can also follow us on Instagram at deepwaters_podcast. Yes, I have to do all this introduction. Yes, this is where we have deep, meaningful conversation on the show. We talk about real life, we talk about you, we talk about some controversial topics. We just want to learn, grow, and grow emotionally, physically, mentally, and psychologically. And today's show is not going to be an exception. Today we're talking about gamophobia. That sounds like a big word. No, it's not such a big word. It just sounds like that. At least it's a Greek word, gamos and phobia. Gamos means to fear. Gamos means marriage. Sorry, and phobia means to fear. I missed that. Phobia, we already know when somebody says, "Oh, I'm homophobic" or "I'm claustrophobic." It's just like a fear. Then the gamo in front, it's a Greek word that means marriage. So you can now guess that gamophobia means the fear of marriage, or the fear of commitment, or the fear of something that gets serious, a form of relational or emotional commitment that gets serious. Some people call it commitment phobia, or commitment issues, or fear of commitment, or the fear that prevents us from committing. Many people in this our generation, especially younger generation today, or not even younger generation, most people in our generation right now, we are all suffering from gamophobia. Because nobody wants to commit anymore. You hear things like, "Oh, let me just have my kid and be happy." "Oh, I don't want to be serious." People are just out. The street is not smiling. People are just out there to break your heart and da. It's we all know that love and marriage and commitment and relationship is good. But sometimes we are scared of committing for one reason or the other. It could be that you, from your family, the way you grew up and the things you saw in marriages, just made you decide and say, "See, I'm not going to marry, I'm not going to commit." And then before you know it, your uncertainty develops into fear, and then that fear becomes a phobia, like a gamophobia. Gamophobia, or the fear of commitment, can keep you from enjoying meaningful relationships. Because when you see a painful breakup or divorce, or maybe a man did a lady bad and you say men has come and you're scared of committing. Do you have commitment issues? Do you have a phobia for commitments? When you see somebody coming close to you and the person is already taking it seriously, you can see that you guys are getting serious. Do you start to pull away? Do you start to distance yourself from that situation? That is some form of gamophobia right there. Are you afraid of being married, or are you afraid of even getting in a serious relationship? Are you afraid of commitment? Now, this is what we're talking about today on Deep Waters with Debrah Waters. If you have seen stories, or if you yourself, you feel like, I might be scared of commitment, or I might be gamophobic at this point. This is what we're talking about today. So feel free, let's talk about it. Share your thoughts and your opinions, and if you have questions, feel free to call in on 0705-993-6937 or 0705-993-7937. We're talking about the fear of commitment, gamophobia. Are you scared of committing? Why? We know about this particular gender that doesn't like to commit. I don't want to mention the gender, but they say there's this gender that does not like to commit. Anytime they hear commitment like this, they'll take like 2 or 3 steps backward. They will run like Usain Bolt. You know, which gender do you think has commitment issues? Call in, let's talk about it on 0705 993 6937 or 0705 993 7937. If you have a phobia for calling, if you have a phobia for calling on the phone, you can text. You can write us on a WhatsApp line at 0812 806 2337. 0812 806 2337. We're talking about the fear of commitment. Do you have commitment issues? Or have you been with somebody who has commitment issues? Like you guys have been together, but you guys cannot just take your thing to the next level. You hear people that have been dating for 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. We've not even heard of 20, but you've been dating for a while and they refuse to take it to the next level. Could it be that one of the partners is gamophobic or is scared of commitment? You know, let's talk about it today on Deep Waters with Debrah Waters. Share your thoughts. Calling on 0705 993 6937 or 0705 993 7937. If you used to have fear of commitment, did you overcome it? I was watching a clip recently and they say, oh, there are three types of set of people that fear commitment. There's the one that are so scared of commitment and they don't want to enter into it. Anytime they just see a guy just taking them seriously, you know, showing them love, mentioning marriage, oh, let's be serious, they just start to pull away completely, like they'll just disappear. And there's the other ones that, irrespective of their fear for the marriage, they're so afraid of it, they will still go ahead and just in their fear, they'll just be like, let's just be doing it, so, and let's just, I'm afraid of us, so let's go, and they will just go and get married in spite of the fear that they are feeling. And then in the marriage, the success are the ones that when you're now married with that fear in your heart, that you'll not be saying, oh, I shouldn't have married, or this is the reason why I wanted to be on my own. No. I was reading somebody's status today, this particular very mature man that I have on my status, on my contact, and then he goes, I've always known his standard. This man, this uncle, I'm like, this brother gets money, he gets everything, but why we say he never settled down? And I'm not one of those womb watchers. I'm not womb watchers. I'm not somebody that used to follow up on people's life. But I'm just wondering in my own heart that this brother, with everything that he has, how come he has not really settled down with somebody? Only for me to see his status and then he says something like, oh, Nigeria has a big problem already. You're not going to enter marriage. Marriage has problem. You're not going to enter marriage. I would rather be single and be by myself. In my mind, I said, this man is giving gamophobic vibes. Maybe he's scared of commitment. You know, he's scared of getting into something serious, or is scared of marriage. Are you scared of marriage, or have you been scared of marriage at any point in your life, or at any point in time in your life? You know, how did you overcome that fear? Do you still have that fear? Why is it that this generation, most of us are kind of afraid of commitment? We don't want to get into something serious with somebody. These days, people are free to want to just say, oh, I want to have a kid and move on with my life. I don't want to commit to anybody. Is commitment really that bad? What comes with commitment? What's all that comes with commitment that makes people want to, you know, pull away? Which gender has more commitment issues, so to say? Yeah, call in on 0705 993 6937 or 0705 993 7937. And like I said earlier, if you have phobia for calls, I don't know what they would call it now, is it colophobia? Feel free to send your text on our WhatsApp line to 0812 806 2337. 0812 806 2337. 0812 806 2337. This is Deep Waters with Debrah Waters, and today we're talking about gamophobia, the commitment phobia, or commitment issues, or fear of commitment, or the fear that prevents you from committing. You see, there are many phobias actually in this part. There are so many kind of phobias. Claustrophobia. They'll say, oh, somebody is scared of height. I don't know what they call that. So it's also a kind of phobia. But I feel like the gamophobia, which is the fear of marriage and commitment, or the avoidance of a long-term partnership, is something that hasn't been very discussed, you know. And generally, and in this part of the world, even myself, I just literally stumbled on that word not so long ago, you know. But today we're going to be taking a closer look at gamophobia and how to overcome it. You know, you might just find yourself going through relationship one after the other, and it's really going nowhere, and you, before you know, in 1 year you've dated like 10 people, and you're wondering, is it my pattern? What's wrong with me? What's off about me? You might just be suffering from gamophobia. You might just be scared of commitment. And that's what we're talking about today. We're going to dig deeper on the topic of the day and hear your thoughts, your perspective, your opinions. I'd love to hear that. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your personal experiences and questions. Thankfully, I have a special guest joining me in a bit. Yeah, he's an expert, a relationship coach, life coach, somebody, a premarital coach. He deals with people who are not married yet, who are thinking of getting married, or who are just singles, basically. And it's going to help us, dive deeper into the topic of the day, fear of commitment, or should I call it gamophobia, and how to identify it, how to spot it, how to heal from it, how to walk away from it, and how to overcome it, basically. This is Deep Waters with Debrah Waters. I would love to go on this small, very short break. When I get back, I want to take more calls from you. I want to have deeper conversations on the show. And of course, my special guest is going to be on, I don't want to say hot seat because this is Deep Waters. It's going to be on my cold seat. It's going to be on my cold seat today on Deep Waters with Debrah Waters. Let's go on that break right now. I'll get back to you. Stay tuned. Waters with Debrah Waters. Yes, it's me, Debrah Waters, still on the radio and of course on TV, Startimes channel 109, and of course on Rhythm 93.7 FM. So far we've been talking about gamophobia, the fear of commitment, the fear of getting into something serious, or relationship or marriage. And I've said that I feel like some of us in our generation, especially most people in this generation, are maybe in a subtle way gamophobic. They are scared of getting into something like marriage. Everybody these days, when you hear marriage kind of scares us. We the young people, it really scares us. And we have a phobia for it, and we're asking why is that? Why is there so much phobia when it comes to commitment and marriages in this pattern these days? Are you gamophobic, or do you have fear of commitment? Can you spot it, or do you just find yourself with a partner that you guys have been dating for so long and you've been trying to move it to the next level with them, but they just don't want to move and they cannot even explain why? They might just be gamophobic. But thankfully, we're talking about this some more today on Deep Waters with Debrah Waters. If you have personal stories, questions, and thoughts, feel free to call in on 0705-993-6937 or 0705-993-7937. And if you have a phobia for calls, I don't know if we should call it colophobia or... I feel like I just created a word, but I'm sure there's going to be a word for that. But yeah, if you have phobia for calls and you do not have phobia for text messages, hopefully, and WhatsApp us on 0812-806-2337. 0812-806-2337. This is Deep Waters with Debrah Waters. And thankfully, I have my special guest with me in the studio. Yes, he's passionate about helping people become the best version of themselves. He's a premarital coach, relationship coach, and he expresses his calling in 3 areas majorly: in relationship, in personal success, and faith. Wow. He's the founder of the Value Resource, that's the ValRes Hub, the human capacity development and Christian counseling company based in the USA, and also the Single and Ready Club, a virtual community committed to upholding the family institution by inspiring meaningful relationships and successful marriages via deliberate training and coaching. Yes, I'm talking about premarital Coach Maisie. You so much more, but this thing is long. I don't know where to start from. But he's a trained coach. He trained with the prestigious Olushola Larry Coaching Academy, a certified counselor with love and dating and marriage LDN ministry. Wow, an associate family life practitioner with Institute of Family Engineering and Development, a certified Christian counselor and relationship. No wonder you're always giving us life coaching and live videos on Instagram. Here's so much more and more. Today we have with me Coach Maisie. Hi, Coach Maisie.
Thank you so much.
Good to have you. It just feels like
Thank
I'm just
you.
reading this thing all over again now. It's plenty. This is what they say. It's plenty.
Well, yeah, I know.
Good to have you. On
Thank
the
you.
show.
I'm
And
delighted
you're
to be
always
here.
doing something, doing a live video, doing one thing or the other.
Mm-hmm.
What keeps you going like that and drive you?
Wow.
I'm
It's
just so
passion.
curious.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
passion. There's a need. That's the truth. There's a very clear need in this area of premarital coaching, and I don't even need to speak a lot of statistics right now, but you and I will agree that just over the news, every now and then you hear a story of someone whose marriage just collapsed, a relationship that just broke up, and stuff like that. So
I
there
mean,
is
the
a need.
popular one would be Israel of DMW. I don't know.
Oh
if you
my,
the
yeah, I
story.
saw,
And Shayla.
yeah, I saw the gist out there. There's always something. It's almost like if you check it, it's every other day. There's one relationship that is folding up or one marriage that's crashing and stuff. So there's a need actually. A lot of people need help, but they don't know it. All right, a lot of people
I need
want.
help. And
You know it. Okay, that's good. You're in a good place.
Okay.
You're in a good place. So that's what keeps me there because really many of the mistakes are avoidable. They are avoidable, yeah, but people
But
just
because you
don't
don't
know. Yeah, or they don't have the emotional strength, to take the decisions that they should be taken. So I'm out there shouting it out, man. Guys, this thing
Interesting.
can
And now
work.
you're on deep waters.
Oh
shouting out
yeah,
through the waters.
Through the waters. Come on.
And I hear that when you make a noise on the water, the echoes like
Oh,
goes,
yeah.
it reverberates.
Oh, yeah, it
Hopefully,
reverberates,
it's
yeah.
going to reverberate today.
All over the world, baby.
All over the world. It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
So let's
yeah.
talk about the fear of commitment.
Okay.
I've done my own small research and I found out what it means and all that. But it's always good to always get that expert opinion and break it down for us. Like to if I was a teenager and I didn't understand fear of commitment and gamophobia, how would you break it down for us?
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. Very good question. Truth is, you see that word gamophobia, it's not one that many people are actually familiar with.
Yeah.
In fact, it exists among many people, but they don't even know. So how would I break it down? Do you find yourself getting really anxious when you're getting close to someone? Do you find yourself getting really anxious, really tensed when you're getting close to someone? I'm not talking about just normal friendships, not your classmates, your colleague at work.
Yes.
When your heart always has that meter that tells you ting, 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 it's climbing, it's getting more serious. So it's like the vibes I'm getting from this guy or the vibes I'm getting from this lady, or might be like, say she wants I'm not ready for next level things. So do you understand? When you start getting so anxious, all right, it could just be that's gamophobia happening there, all right. And for some people, it's so let me be clear first of all. I'm not talking about the natural fear of the unknown, fear of tomorrow, like if I marry now, how you go be, what's it going to look like? No, I'm not talking about that one, because naturally, if you're about to get into the next level of your life, there'll be some kind of scare, there'll be some kind of fear, like, am I able? You're asking a lot of questions. That's not the one we're talking about in gamophobia. In gamophobia, is kind of more than proportionate, all right? It's intense. Some people literally are in shivers when this person is around them, or when the thought of this person is comes to mind. They're scared. Some people start sweating. And somebody out there is listening to me and can relate to this, because you know how you feel when the conversation about marriage comes up. You start sweating all of a sudden.
Overthinking.
Overthinking, yes. In fact, some people actually can almost choke, like, takes my breath away.
Wow.
Yeah, it actually happens to some people like that. So the best thing they want to do is avoid it completely. So if you find yourself always avoiding conversations or friendships that are getting closer and more personal and more emotional, then perhaps you could be the one that we're having this conversation for.
That sounds a lot like me, and this scares me a lot.
Really?
Wow, I can't believe this. Sounds very close to home.
Oh, wow.
I hope I'm not gamophobic though.
Okay, I hope you're not. But if you are, you're talking with the coach, so you're in a good place.
All right, I'm in
Oh,
a good place.
yeah.
Amen and amen. So, what are the signs? Are you giving us you're already giving us a bit of
Yeah.
what it looks like. gamophobia and the fear of commitment. But what are the other things apart from pulling away, apart from overthinking? You know, how can I see my partner and know that they're actually suffering from the fear of commitment? You know, what are the signs? And before we move into what are the causes of fear of commitment?
Okay, yeah. Okay, so good thing I already mentioned a few of the signs. I'll just re-emphasize some of them and then touch on one or two other things I didn't say. So you discover that there's a withdrawal, actually.
Yeah.
And you see, why it's dicey is that sometimes you want the emotional pleasure from this person, but what really scares you is that I'm not ready for this commitment, man. Like, don't talk wife around me, man. Don't talk husband. Like, come on, why are you in a hurry? Like, slow down. Yeah, we can just be cool. Like, so long as that conversation doesn't come up, all right? And then you find yourself withdrawing from that person that you are really attracted to, you know, romantically or emotionally or towards marriage. You find yourself now trying to withdraw, all right? Some people go to the extent where they just tell the person, you know what, I can't explain, but we can't be friends. You know what? I'm just delete my number, block me. You know, just don't talk to me.
Create a problem where there's no problem.
I was coming there. Yeah. You know, some people are good at that. They will create a problem, all right, just so that you guys can fall out and everything will just go apart. Some people are good at that, and you know that's gamophobia happening there, because you're seeing something good, as it were. Okay, well,
that makes you vulnerable.
So that's another point I was getting to, because you know this level of deep emotional relationship thrives on vulnerability. How many people, you know, are willing to be that vulnerable? That's where the challenge is. So because you don't want to open up that part of yourself just yet, you find yourself pushing that person away, or just withdrawing yourself, or completely cutting and putting an end to the relationship. All right. So those are some of the
signs.
The signs. Okay. I also spoke about people who feel like they're choking sometimes, or they feel dizzy. Everything was okay until that guy walked by, or until that lady came around.
I think mine will be overthinking, though. Just overthinking, like, am I doing right? Even when you're trying to like break in and be a little more vulnerable, then that thing will tell you, no, just
be of best behavior.
Oh my, it sounds funny, but it's not funny.
I know.
It's not funny.
You know, but the good thing is there is help. You know, there's help, and thank God we're talking about it right now.
Yes, thankfully.
Yeah.
And what are the effects? Now you've said some of the signs and all, but what effect does this have overall? Because at the end of the day, you can break the relationship as soon as possible, move on to the next, and move on to the next after that.
Yeah.
So what's the effects, you know, of that?
One of the very key effects is you begin to lose valuable relationships in your life. Oh yes. Because even if they weren't going to go towards marriage or that level of emotional connection, just because you fear it, you would block something that could have been good.
Wow.
Oh yes. Many people have lost genuine, great friendships just because they were afraid of it getting to the point of marriage. That's one very big, you know, consequence of that. You can lose genuine friendships. And you can, you know, another consequence is the fact that because you have done this, you know, for so long, you get so accustomed to it and you begin to think this is just how I am. So subconsciously, you are closing your chances of actually experiencing true love in marriage.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. So subconsciously, you're shutting it out. And sometimes you can't even give yourself a reason why. But you've told yourself this over and over again. You've mastered the act of escaping and drawing away from such friendships that could lead to marriage, to the point that you have convinced yourself, I'm just okay like this. You know? Yeah, and it's going to take a lot of intervention to get you out of that kind of thinking.
Interesting. What causes gamophobia or fear of commitment?
Oh my.
Is it genetic?
You know, the psychiatrists have said that there are also there could be, you know, genetic causes. Yeah, there could be, and I'll tell you about it.
Fault.
Calm down. I know you were going there. Wait first. You know, so that part is even. I mean, if I was going to mention it, probably would have come last. But I'll talk about it somehow. Okay. Yeah, there could be genetic, but there are mostly other causes. All right, stuff like
Really? Wait. That the fear of commitment can be passed through
yes.
through genes.
Oh yes. So you see, one thing people really don't know is that your emotional experiences many times are transferable to other generations. Oh yes. As a matter of fact, psychiatrists have said that certain experiences can be transferred up to the 5th generation. And let me give you a classical example. That is why sometimes you notice that people who experienced abuse in their parents' home tend to be abusive themselves, tend to raise children who will be abusive, and their children are abusive. Oh yes, it could be transferred like that.
Wow.
So people who got pregnant out of wedlock, give birth to ladies or girls who get pregnant in secondary school or university. Their daughters get pregnant, sometimes up to the 3rd or 4th generation. All right. Yes. Is that serious? Okay.
That sounds
but that's
spiritual,
not. You see, let's not get too much into metaphysics, right? But the truth is, life is spiritual, and then when we're talking about things that affect the soul or the mind, okay, we're talking spiritual stuff. And that is why people don't understand the far-reaching effects of some of the behaviors, and the for want of better word, some of the bad behavior that they're doing right now. Because you think it's just me. I'm just catching cruise. It's just fine. I'm just okay.
Who I am.
It's who I am.
I can't change.
But you don't know that something about that is being passed on to your children, to your seed after you.
That's incredibly deep.
Oh yeah, it is.
Deep water.
Okay. Oh yeah, right.
Okay, yeah. So let's not get too deep into that. But it's good to know that it's genetic. So I know
it could be.
It could.
It could be. Don't put that first.
I feel like we're laughing on.
No, don't put that first.
So what are the causes?
Okay,
Causes.
Other causes are. I mentioned something before about people not wanting to be vulnerable. There are people who fear accountability. They tremble at accountability, and you see it in several other areas. They are the ones who will never write a report. They are the ones who will escape it in every way. They are the ones who will go on an errand and not give feedback. And you call them for feedback and they just find a way to escape it and, try to even ask you what's your business. Why are you harassing me? There's accountability that they are afraid of.
That could have been passed genetically too.
Okay, let's remove that genetic something.
That could have been.
Let's suspend it. Let's hang it somewhere first.
We'll hang it somewhere.
But we'll come to we'll touch it. Yeah.
Okay.
And then for some, it's the pressure, the demands, the other social demands of marriage, especially the financial demands. All right. And somebody is thinking, the way I'm living now, is this how I will get married? Can I take care of another adult? All these girls are materialistic. Can I afford? I'm just saying that's a generalization. It's not always the case. All right, it's a false generalization. All right, but we know that some people are. But someone picks that and says, man, it's gonna be tough for girls. Why am I using the because I'm a guy, right? So a guy is feeling like it's gonna be tough for ladies of these days. They are not submissive. They are too troublesome. They're too the raise shoulder, and stuff like that. And because of that, this person doesn't want to summon the emotional strength and courage to talk marriage with a lady he's close to. But like I said before, yet he wants the benefits. He likes the come over weekend. You understand? Come and do okay, right? Netflix and chill. Well, that far the next level things. No. Sometimes it's fear of accountability. Sometimes it's the fear of the pressure of the financial obligations and demands that come with it, and more serious issues many times is, as a result of failed relationships. And this is why I advocate, like you mentioned on my show sometimes, this is why I advocate that you don't need a lot of relationships in your life. Because from all of those relationships, you are picking things that will impact you emotionally, and it will impact your mind. All right, so imagine that you have dated like 7 girls and you're just 22. You have picked all manner of confusing and unnecessary ideas about love, about relationship, about life. All right, and then when it's time to really settle down with someone whom you're supposed to love and have a lifetime commitment, you discover that it's somewhat difficult for you because now you're combining all the negative experiences from everywhere, and Even if the lady you're with now is an innocent person, come on, you're just going to expect her to behave like all the other 7. Do you understand? So sometimes it's failed relationships, sometimes it's traumatic. All right, there are children who never saw peace in the home. There are children who, from when they started gaining consciousness, all they saw in the home was fights, quarrels, sometimes physical fights. It gets bloody, the children are crying, the parents are so engrossed in what they're doing. Now they see that in their own home happening among their parents. They see that happening among their uncles and aunties. They see that on social media. They see that, everywhere, and then they are scared. Like, is this what marriage is? Do you understand? Now, for those kind of people, anytime they think marriage, those are the pictures that come to mind.
Yeah.
Those are the pictures.
And social media has a huge part to play in all of this.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Social media is influencing culture more than any other thing these days. Do you understand? So sometimes is that trauma. All right? And
Yes.
statistics have shown that children who experience abuse, boys especially who experience abuse, are more likely to be abusive of their partners. It's something about the programming they have received. This is how life is. This is how to relate with a woman. This is how to relate, under certain circumstances. What they saw their fathers do, how they saw their mothers react when their fathers behave like that, kind of gave some endorsement that this is just okay. You see? So sometimes it's all of that trauma. Okay? For some people, it's just stories about all the gloom and doom, especially on social media. So they are wondering, can this thing ever work? What kind of problem is this? For some others, it's a case of scarcity of role models. No mentorship. It's not like the mentorship does not exist, but they don't know how to locate them.
There are very few.
Yeah.
Like you. Very few.
It's partly why we're now making noise. There are several, I belong to a number of, groups and associations that are big on this. Some of those trainings I did, there are institutes here in Nigeria and abroad that are committed to raising healthy families. All right. Sometimes until you look for it, you don't even know it's there. Do you understand? But that's why we're here talking about it, making noise, so that if you don't know anybody, okay, talk to me, I'll link you up, because one person can solve all the problems, right? But the point is sometimes people don't have anyone to mentor them. And that's why one of the things I always talk about is the fact that a blissful marriage is possible and you deserve it. Don't remove yourself from the chances of it. You deserve it. It's possible. You might not know how. Come and ask. We'll teach you. Apply your heart to wisdom, to gain knowledge, to gain understanding, and you will find how. Do you understand? So yes, those are some of the causes. I mean, there could be more. Low self-esteem is one big one. Is one big one. You see, again, it has to do with your vulnerability. So you look at yourself and you wonder, am I good enough? I don't fit enough for this person's life. Someone is asking you out, is getting close to you, and then you feel like you are all that. You are up there. Who am I to be in a relationship with you? Like, no. Let me not find one trouble here now. But you see that talk they used to say, what do I bring to the table? So you now look at it and say, I don't have anything to bring to the table. So come on. That's low self-esteem talking to you there. You need to understand that you're valuable. You need to understand that there's a lot of greatness in you. You see, but when you don't know how to rightfully estimate your worth, and that's what low self-esteem is. You have worth, but you don't know how to estimate it. So you rate it very low. You rate yourself 2 over 100. Do you understand? Meanwhile, you could be a 70, 80, 90, or even more, right? So low self-esteem is also one of the things that make people stay in gamophobia. They don't believe they are worthy enough. Do you know that there are people who, this may speak a bit to low self-esteem and trauma, who they've been in terrible situations or relationships all their lives, and now they meet a fantastic guy, a fantastic lady, and guess what? They believe I don't deserve her.
You're too perfect. You're too good.
Yeah, you're too good for me.
There must be something wrong.
No. It's something else to spoil. Do you understand? So these are some of the causes.
If that's been very immersive. You really broke it down for us. This is Deep Waters with Debrah Waters, and I'm still right here with premarital coach Maisie.
That's right.
AKA Coach Mazi.
Hey, please don't change it for me.
Helping us give us a deeper perspective on the topic of the day, fear of commitment, or you can call it gamophobia. And you've helped us with the causes, the signs of it. If you have questions and thoughts, I know you're listening, very much so. But if you have questions and thoughts and comments, feel free to call in on 0705-993-6937 or 0705-993-7937. And like I said, if you have a phobia for calls, you can text us on WhatsApp at 0812-806-2337. 0812-806-2337. This is Deep Waters with Debrah Waters, and yes, we're on to almost at the last segment of the show. So if you have thoughts, you better do the calling right now, because Coach Maisie, not Maisie, is still in the house. They say a particular gender has more commitment issues than the other. Is it your gender or my gender?
Okay, no. Okay, you see, this thing always comes up in relationship conversations, right? I need people to understand that certain things are human things.
Okay.
Not necessarily one gender or the other.
But we can't take away from the fact that they're human thing, but by the time we bring all humans together and they divide the gender in the humans, the gender is under humans now.
Of course.
So under the gender, you not see that some particular gender have more commitment issues. They run from commitment more than others.
Until there is statistics to prove it, right? Let me tell you why I say it's a human thing. Is it only one gender that has experienced heartbreak?
I did not say that.
No, just wait. I'm just asking.
We are both scared. We are all scared of commitment.
Is it only one gender that breaks the other one's heart?
It's not, but one gender breaks heart more than the other.
We need statistics.
Okay, unfortunately, I will call them at the International Board of Statistics.
I know where you're trying to take me to.
Okay.
So you don't
think one gender has more commitment issues than the other?
No, I don't.
Because you're a coach?
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course. Trying to be human after all.
We deal with both of them. We deal with, people readily tell you, maybe it's the guys, but we also hear of ladies. I mean, we're in this space and we deal with both guys and ladies alike. All right. So out there, you might just say, you might have a bias towards one gender. But no, those of us who are practitioners or who are in this space, we know that it's a human thing. It could be this or it could be that, all right? Irrespective of what's mostly in the news.
Thank you, Coach Maisie.
Not first, eh?
I still think that one gender, we already know the gender runs from commitment. Especially when you go and get belle, for example, for them like this. Now then they tell you, say, I beg you.
Why did you get the belle?
I don't want belle. So now me put the belle inside me.
How did you get it?
When you know use the thing, you know use waiting supposed to use cover and may no get belle.
How did they reach there?
So when you reach that stone, why you say that they always run from that commitment?
I told you.
That's why sometimes they use speaking pack action sometimes.
It isn't a catch. Let's not go there.
Coach Maisie.
Let's not go there.
Another dimension.
I'm telling you, because you see, I think there are a lot of erroneous ideas out there. When a lady thinks you're trapping a man with a child, please, who is carrying the pregnancy? Who is taking the literal day-to-day care of that child?
Make I take my call if you like. If you like, ask this question for tomorrow. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Olawale, is that you?
This is me. Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for calling.
Please, I just want to ask a question. When you are talking about that, maybe gender or something like that, or something like that, can somebody do fasting and prayer or deliverance about that? Very good question.
Thank you, Olawale. I appreciate it. Yes, thank God you said some of them are spiritual. Very good question. Because some parents will drag you to say, Baba, please let me pray for her. Why is she scared? Or you don't think it happens?
So you see,
can prayer and fasting heal fear of commitment?
Nothing prayer cannot do. They say prayer is the master key. Nothing prayer cannot do. So we're not removing that.
Okay.
But you see, the point is that there are certain things that prayer will do. There are certain other things that knowledge, information, understanding will do for you. All right. Prayer may guide you to where to find knowledge. Prayer might not put the knowledge inside your head. Do you understand? So if it's only prayer and fasting that is your approach, then I will tell you that, yes, while it is good for those who believe in it, all right, I'm not saying that I don't believe. I do. I'm a believer, right? I'm a Christian, right? So while you may think that, I want to go and pray and fast to find solution, what I think God will do many times is to guide you to where to actually learn and find the practical tips to apply to get out of that fear. Do you understand? So to basically answer the question, does prayer and fasting work? Oh yes, it works, but I will let you know that, and I would rather recommend that you also seek knowledge, seek wisdom, seek understanding on the subject matter.
Okay, I have commitment issues now. I know now Coach Maisie has helped me, diagnose my commitment issues. What can I do? Especially when these patterns have been built over the years and I feel like it's now in me.
Okay.
So how can I walk away? How can I heal?
Yeah.
How can I, move on from that fear?
Yeah, good question there. So it starts with identifying that there is a fear. It starts with identifying it. Now that you have identified it, you see, you can choose to walk this path by yourself, but you will do better when you walk the path with a therapist. Okay, because there are certain guided conversations we will have with you. There are certain guided questions we will have with you, or we would throw at you, we would ask you. All right, there are certain dark places of your emotions, of your life, that you actually avoid. You have locked the key and thrown it away in the sea. It has drowned, it has rusted. All right, but with the help of a professional, we can navigate you through those places and get into that dark corner where the real issues lie. All right.
So what if I do not heal or get into that dark corner and I get married with that fear?
Oh my. There's a saying that if you don't heal, you would bleed on others who did not cut you. Oh yeah. So if you don't heal, if you're not able to overcome that fear, what will happen is, even though you're now married, that fear will still be there. All right. And it will stop you, to impede you from really enjoying the true love, and bliss of that marriage. But another thing to do for you, which is even worse off, is that, you see, you attract what you think about the most. You attract your fears. All right. It's the same principle that fear and faith operate with. All right. You attract what your most dominant thoughts are, your self-fulfilling prophecy. All right. So because that fear exists, whatever it is, somehow you would attract the fulfillment of that fear in your marriage. For example, if it's someone who has been so hurt that you don't believe anybody can be committed in marriage, you would suspect your spouse. You will suspect every person who comes around them. You always want to check their devices. You always want to check their phones. There's nothing that you kept inside there that you're looking for, but you will always be going there. You see, what's happening to you? It's not something they are doing to you. It's you're responding to the fears and the insecurities in your own heart. All right. So, if you get married and this issue is not sorted, even though you're married, you see, you will still be living out the reality of your fears, and it may take even a longer time to heal, or to, as it were, overcome that fear, whatever it is.
Okay. So you keep saying, see a therapist, they'll guide you
Oh,
through
yeah.
it. So what if I cannot afford a therapist? Because you guys are always charging dollars and pounds. So what if I cannot afford a therapist? What should I do then?
Make I yab you small.
Yab me now.
You feel afford subscription for your phone, abi? You feel afford fine hair. You feel afford fine phone, iPhone. You can afford things that are important in quote to you. Okay. But therapy is not yet known to be that important. Let me tell you, if it's important to you, you can afford it.
You think I can afford it, right? What about somebody who can't?
Who says they can't? It's a matter of importance. Let me tell you the truth. When you so badly need something, you'll get it. When the heart decides a course, the mind will work out the destination to get it. Said by Mike Murdoch.
Interesting.
Do you understand? So yes. if it's not about, there will always be a therapist who is within your range. Oh yes, there will always be a therapist who's within your range. And then if your heart so desires it, you can attract it. One day you just see one therapist say, okay, you know what, I'm giving out, I did it on my birthday 2 years ago. I said, I'm giving out 150 hours free coaching.
Wow.
So you might stumble on that and you say, I want. Do you understand? And you get it. But if your heart so desires it, you will attract it to yourself. Do you understand? So don't remove that possibility by just saying, I cannot afford it, or they are charging. If it's important to you, if you are spending money in your daily life, trust me, you can afford it.
Interesting. What if I'm in a relationship with a partner that is gamophobic and fears commitment, and I'm in love with this person? What can I do?
Help the person to get help.
Is helping them the best solution, or should I just walk away, especially when I can see signs that
Okay, I like that you asked that, because very true. So it depends, right? It depends on the level of of their gamophobia and how badly it affects them. All right,
So
yeah.
there are levels to this thing.
Yeah, so
How
I,
do you- okay.
what I'm saying so is there are certain people who are open to learning. All right, there's such a fear, they've identified it, and then you're letting them know that this thing is affecting our relationship, and they're open to talk about it. They're sincere enough. Those are the kind of people that can get help. Those are the kind that help them to get help. In other words, refer them to a therapist, refer them to materials online, go and start reading by yourself. Thank God for YouTube. There's a lot you will gain on YouTube. Just go on YouTube, type the word, and resources will come out. Start watching those clips. In fact, I wanted to say that if you can't even afford a therapist, by just applying yourself to learning, you can actually get to the point where you will be able to ask yourself the same questions the therapist will ask you. You'll be your own therapist, and you see yourself through it. Do you understand?
Yes.
So, but for people who are closed up, who are impossible, for people who are not teachable, for people who are proud, who are unaccountable, see, you are not the savior of anybody's life. You cannot change anybody who doesn't want to be changed. It's one of the challenges that we coaches even face sometimes. You are optimistic, you believe, you can make it. If brother does not want to make it, it's all you can make it, he shall not make it. Do you understand? So if it's that kind of person, then I will advise you to save your emotional energies and go and look for the one that you don't have to go through all of that trouble with. Okay? But again, it's easy for people to get into relationship. Time to walk out, it will look like they have locked the door. The same way you got in, you can go out. All right? Yeah.
It's love now. Sometimes you have already committed yourself, your time, you are used to them.
Like I say many times, who
attached.
sent you? Who sent you?
But you don't know these days. Sometimes you start
See.
this thing with someone, you don't even know they are gamophobic until you get to a point and realize that, damn, this person is...
So let me drop this here. Before you get to that point, you see what happened? What should happen in a relationship is that you guys should be discussing a lot. It's in those conversations you begin to find out what your values really are. You begin to find out if you guys really align in everything, align in values, align in spirituality, align, mentally, align intellectually. It's in those conversations. But why people know they discuss? It's in there they do. That thing that they are doing is what's making you say you have committed so much you did not know. If you were talking since and you were not should
coming
I talk
over.
this?
If you
Not
use
coming
your
over.
gender.
It's my gender that used
Anytime,
to.
come over.
You, why did you go over?
Anytime, come over.
Netflix
every time.
and chill.
Netflix and chill.
Hey, I'm sending Uber. I'm
Your
sending you
gender,
Uber.
I'll pay for your Uber.
I'll pay for your Uber.
Your gender
But
now.
your gender will not still
Always
come
your
over.
gender.
But your gender will come over.
We are very cool people now.
Then you start crying foul later. You start crying later. You see, so if in the relationship you guys are discussing healthily, you would identify those things and tell yourself, I can't go ahead with this before your heart even gets so much into it. Do you understand? This is what I'm teaching people really. You don't have to get in neck deep and then you say I'm helpless. So no. Coordinate your emotions, discuss. You will find out whether or not you guys are compatible at that level.
Or not.
Or yes or not. And then if you're not, you keep it there. It doesn't have to graduate to relationship leading to marriage.
That's absolutely brilliant. And that's okay. I feel like I'm in therapy. That's why. So I'm overwhelmed.
No, that one won't happen on air.
I'm literally overwhelmed.
It will happen
But
on
thank
air.
you
We'll talk
so
later.
much,
Yeah.
Coach Maisie, for actually sharing your thoughts on this.
You're
And how
welcome.
can we, this thing that's flying us upon social media, fear of commitment, how can we shut our minds, especially when it's becoming a pop culture right now?
That's
So
right.
as a person, how can we shut that out, apart from the things we hear, even if we're not even gamophobic?
True word. Very good question there. You see, people need to understand that there are gateways into your life. And by gateways, I mean your information receptacles, your eyes, your nose.
We have just 1 minute to go.
Oh my!
Yes.
So basically, right? Guard what comes into your heart. Don't expose yourself to everything. Don't believe negative things. Look for the positive things. They exist also. Look for them and strengthen yourself, your emotions with those positive things. Fill your mind with it.
Coach
Oh, yeah.
Maisie, thank you
That's
so
right.
much. This has been a very therapeutic one. I struggle between being a host and a
Client, right?
I really
Yeah,
struggle.
I know.
But thankfully, I got
I'll
to
send
the
you an
end.
invoice after.
Okay, how can people find you for more coaching services and just to be a part of your community?
Oh, wow.
Yes, now.
Coach Maisie, Coach CoachMayzy
Okay.
across social media platforms. I'm more active on Instagram.
Okay.
more active on Instagram, right? But I'm on Twitter, I'm on Threads, right? I'm on WhatsApp, I'm on Telegram. Coach Maisie, that's it on
Very
Instagram.
funky name.
Follow Coach Maisie on Instagram.
Coach Maisie.
But I have my Single and Ready Club.
Okay.
All right, it's also on Instagram. You can also follow that.
Okay, cool.
And then you can access our resources on YouTube.
Good.
On YouTube, just look for Single and Ready Club.
Okay.
All right, and follow. We have countless. We have over 130 videos of teachings. All right, on relationship matters. I can almost bet that there's no topic you're looking for you won't find there.
Absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, Single and Ready
Maybe
Club
you
on
can inspire
YouTube.
some topics
Oh
on my
yeah.
show.
And then
Thank
Coach
you.
Maisie on Instagram. Yeah.
Coach Maisie on Instagram. Thank you so much, Coach
Yeah.
Maisie. This has been a very fantastic
Thank
one.
you.
Yeah, it's
Thank
been
you.
a mind-blowing one.
Thank
My
you.
listeners and viewers, thank you so much for watching and for being a part of the show. The portals will be live again on Wednesday at 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. with another amazing show for you, another deep, meaningful conversation for you to have with your host, Debrah Waters. And for myself, I'm Coach Maisie.
Thank you so much. Be with me 9 p.m. on Wednesday, every Wednesday on Instagram.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
I
You
have
can
a
hear
session.
that.
Yeah.
He has a session.
Love Code with Maisie.
Okay, Love Coach with Maisie. See you there.
All right, bye.